integrational space for dialogue among civil societies across the country, academically, the private sectors, and the youth to tackle innovative solutions to the global issues in the 21st century. And of course, the people that dominate the biggest population within the country as of now are the youth. And when we address the youth today, we are having our visitor, Mr. John, who is going also to make us know between the originally launched Friendship Ambassadors FAF of 2004, if there is some bit of difference on the same session compared to what's happening now. Because when we talk about youth representation, and being that Mr. John is now in the docket of the Speaker of the Assembly of the Youth, a lot are going to be discussed. Keep it locked into the BTV Kenya, your home live TV. And because of the same session, just as we have addressed Mr. John, the audience may feel to know if there is this difference between the former foundation when the youth representation was adhered to during the 2004 and this that is coming now within this time. And maybe if you talk about the area of jurisdiction, where particularly do you stand for?
Thank you. I think Kenya adopted a new constitution,
Yes, yes.
the 2010 constitution, so that brings a big difference between the initial organization that was meant to address the issues of youth. With the 2010 constitution, we got devolution as a big win, something that was championed by our leader, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
Oh, yes.
And we all are aware of existing organizations that are trying to champion youth issues. And the most notable one that we know is the National Youth Council, which is anchored within the Constitution as a platform for engaging on issues youth, with the policymakers, governments, and other stakeholders.
Yes, yes.
And then we have KYPA, which is Kenya Young Parliamentarian Association.
Yes, yes.
So these are the organizations that gave us people like Governor Sakaja, our brother Babu Owino is known as one of the senior most members of Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association. We have Hazena, the beautiful lady that was nominated into the Kenyan Senate.
Yes.
But then KYMCA, which typically represent Kenya Young Members of County Assemblies. We are talking about both elected and nominated MPs who are below the age of 35.
Okay.
And they've come up with an association, more or less like the KYPA, in a bid to motivate and mentor upcoming leaders, to inspire a young generation of leaders like me to take up political position in the coming elections. Right now we are going to face 2027. We have youths who are aspiring to be leaders to take up positions in assembly, as members of county assembly, and also as members of parliament. But then you realize that there is no direct link between existing leaders or elected members with these aspiring leaders. So that is where the KYMC actually comes in.
Okay.
Yeah, and being elected as speaker is not just a small feat. So I really want to take this opportunity to thank my fellow youths because we had a pool of delegates. We were being assisted by our young MCAs, like from Migori County we had Honorable Osewe, we had Honorable Brano Sodo, we had Honorable Ruth Olala, and then we also have other members like Honorable Felix Okwanyo, and all these are the young youths. But then you realize they see potential in some of us, and then they act as a bridge to lift us up to mentor us so that the next coming election we're able to take up such positions. So for me, it's a privilege to serve as the general speaker for this upcoming youth as well as these elected young members.
Yes.
So that we have a platform whereby we are able to discuss key issues and we are able to take up these issues with the elected members of county assembly so that they are able to push this through the various county assemblies and build legislation. So it is a vital role and having the responsibility to coordinate all the 6 county assemblies is a challenging task, but I believe I'm up to it.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. John. Now that you are standing in for the KYMCA, this is an area that only targets the young parliamentarians, particularly those that are 35 years and below. It's an article within the constitution of the country. Now that you are standing in just for maybe the Nyanza region, maybe people at the Kenyans may want to know if at all the same applies to different counties apart from the Nyanza region.
Actually, I'm the second speaker to be elected. KYMCA held their first speakership election in the Coast region, where they have a speaker. The second region was Nyanza, and then I believe they have the next session, I think, in Samburu County. Not Samburu County, but I think it's in the Rift Valley region. So all these regions are going to have an elected speaker. So that the 8 speakers now form the National Speakership Council that will be able to coordinate different activities. So it is not just Nyanza, but in each and every region there is going to be representation. And another thing I would like to emphasize that the fact that I'm a speaker for these young MCAs doesn't mean that we limit our scope. It means that we are a voice for those youth who don't have an opportunity to be represented. It's more like what we have. We elect our leaders by hundreds and thousands of votes, and then they move a step ahead to represent our interest. We have motions, like when I chaired the first session in Homa Bay County, we have 4 main committees. So we have agriculture, we have health, we have tourism, and then we have education, youth and sports. And so we went ahead, we managed to come up with committees with fully functioning committee members, and then we have specific motions and specific bills that we aim to develop, to come up with, and then we are able to work in partnership with the elected members, because remember it is the elected members who has the opportunity to take these bills to the floor of the House and put them up for vote. But then even the public, with us, we can do that through public petitions. But then now, because we have our members serving with these assemblies, it means that if we have youth-related legislation, we have an avenue through which we can take this legislation to the assemblies and whip the votes and actually make them into legislation.
Thank you so much, Mr. John. And maybe if at all members would wish also to know from you, unlike the MCAs, it's always known constitutionally that the MCAs oversee the work that is done by the MPs, and as it climbs the stairs, the MPs also oversight over the governor within the county. Now, for your case as the youth representative, you also have your area into which you are tackling. Are you also overseeing maybe the MCs, or you work? What do you do particularly?
Just like I told you, our main responsibility is to be a platform that connects the youth voice. With a team that is able to actually put the youth priorities into legislation. Because remember that without legislation, we don't have anything.
Definitely.
For example, we have right now we are trying to come up with a bill that will ensure that these our counties provide youth empowerment funds.
Okay.
And you see, the county government cannot just come up with funds and just distribute it to the youth.
Okay.
It has to be a legislation. It has to be a bill that has to be passed and anchored in law.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so that the county government has now a clear mandate on how to actualize that youth empowerment fund.
Okay.
But it is not always in the best interest of some of our elected leaders to put that in place.
Okay.
So as a youth,
yes,
we are on the ground, we engage youths,
yes,
we collect these views, we collect these views, we get these ideas, and then we are able to package these ideas into public policy documents. And then we take up this public policy initiative,
yes,
you know, and then in coordination with the elected members of county assemblies, we are able to make this work through the legislative process.
Okay.
The first reading, we take it through the clerk, first reading, second reading, it has to go through the legal, and then with the right amendments, we'll be able to now have a bill that the MCS can put on the floor of the house for a vote. And then if it passes, then it's going to be a win for the youth, because now we are going to have an actualized youth empowerment fund. That is just one. That's just but one area. We have serious areas in agriculture, areas we need youths to be funded, but then we do not have clear legislation on how this needs to be done. But then we are on the ground collecting these views, putting these ideas, and coming up with policies that are able to change the lives of the youth. And that also includes oversight, because when we see that county assemblies or even the county executive offices are not actually fulfilling their mandate, then we have a voice now as a youth to go out, to petition them, to reach out to them, to engage them and tell them this is wrong and this is how we propose for you to make it right. That is something that the youth has never had for the longest time.
Actually.
But now we have a legitimate mandate. Because remember that all these members were sworn in by the clerk of various of that particular assembly. We had a sitting in Homa Bay, and we had a full house in motion. I, as speaker, I was voted, and IBC was there to oversee that election. So which means that it is a legitimate position, and we will use this position to advocate for the rights and for the benefit of the Kenyan youth.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. John. A number of people may also ask or wonder whether from when, if at all we are not in a position to make it clear. You know, mostly they know that the county assembly have their bills and they append it to they append the forum for discussion in the county assembly. Now, maybe if you differentiate, do you also use the county assembly that the MCAs are also using?
Yes, we undertake all our sessions in the county assembly. In a full house. We have the clerks. We have the sergeant at arms. If you watch the video where I was being sworn in, it was a full house. Sergeant at arms, the clerk, we had the speaker, and all that. So it's a full session. We did it in Homa Bay. Now the next session, our next set of agenda, we're going to carry our session in Migori County Assembly. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. John. Now, when you look at representation of the county assembly, for instance, you find that a number of people, those that are elected or nominated in those areas, are those members that are 35 and above mostly. Do we, or have you found maybe quite a good number as the youth representative, those that are under 35 years and below?
I would tell you that it is with an interesting fact if I told you that most of the MCAs that are elected in most of our assemblies are youthful.
Yes.
And it's a good opportunity because now youths now have the space.
Yeah.
The only thing that we need to do is how do we empower and keep these elected young MCAs on toes, and also add value by giving them something much more to present before their colleagues and advocate, because they are youth, but are they really fighting for the rights of the youth? Perhaps we would say not quite. But then now we come as a backup to tell them, actually, there is a lot that you guys can do. For example, we have this legislation. Take it through. Let us whip votes. Let us get the youth a win. Yes. So it is a win-win for both the elected youth MCAs and also for youths in general.
However few they may be.
Because we believe that I have experience in public policy and governance, and I can tell you that my experience with some of the members that we've engaged so far, very, very positive. Actually, I had a meeting with some of even the older MCs in return. We are waiting to see what you guys are going to bring to us. And then we said, definitely we are cooking some very good bills that in consultation will make the youth have value and trust in the process and also benefit from.
All right. So as we say, under that hierarchy, the MCAs who are overseeing the members of parliament, now that they're also going to be seen or given obligations to attend constitutionally, what's their take as per your thinking? These that are 35 years and above, for instance?
I don't think they have a problem.
Yes.
Because actually what you're trying to do, we're just trying to complement their work. So we all believe that if we bring our heads together, great things can happen. So I see they're very positive. Majority of them have called me, and probably as the Eid is coming to an end today, you'll see a lot of engagements at the committee level with the MCAs, whereby we'll be able to explore and also provide our own views on some of the bills that are going through. So it's a partnership. It's a collaboration, and for any other person, it's always very exciting to have youthful brains with you, because we add some value. Yes.
Just as when we began the story at the beginning of the program, we highlighted to the people that the biggest population within the country are youths, and now if they can be represented in that way, then it's to their benefit. I know they are so glad about the same. Maybe is it that for if somebody asks you that these MCAs, they were not having any other persons that were following them on what they were doing, is it that the youth by then were left behind in one way or the other?
No, not really. It is our constitution. Our constitution does not provide a means to oversight the MCAs.
Yes.
Actually, the people who should oversight the MCAs and member of parliament are actually us. We the people who voted them in. And so I believe that adding that layer of a system that is able to keep our elected members on toes leads to the advantage, because we'll ensure that nobody sleeps at work, and that will also make sure that they'll be able to deliver to those who elected them, and their chances of getting re-elected probably will have to go higher. And association with youth also brings many benefits to some of these leaders. So I think overall it is a welcoming gesture, and I just hope that so long as we have more areas of collaborations, that is the only way to take these counties forward.
All right. Now, this thing is coming newly, just when devolution chipped in.
Yes.
Are there any challenges that you are facing just when it was begun until now, particularly when you, as Mr. John, when you were elected for this post of the Speaker of the Assembly?
Actually, I'm barely 1 week old in this position.
Yes.
But I can tell you that, everybody is happy. People was seeing that there is an opportunity for the youth voice to actually be added into these assemblies, because there wasn't a criteria through which the youth would add their voice into the matters of legislation and policy, both in the executive and in the county assembly. And I can tell you that when I had the opportunity to be elected, I've already received a lot of information from the youth telling me, prioritize this, prioritize this. Please, this is the real issue. Look into it. I've had conversation with MCAs, elected MCAs, who tells me that please, why don't you come to our committee so that we get the youth perspective? Because this has never happened before. But now there is an opportunity that through public participation, the youth can add their voice into almost every single bill that goes through the House across the 6 counties, across the 6 county assemblies that exist in Nyanza. And me as the speaker, I have the mandate to engage these people, to share our perspective, to address concerns, and also to remind them of their mandate, and also keep them on toes by telling them this is not right. We are the youth, and we feel that this bill or this this policy is going to affect us in this way or the other. And so I'm glad to take up the task. I know I'm barely 1 week old. I have a full entry, and I believe we're going to make it so that we deliver what's best for the Kenyan youth. And I want to emphasize on that, because when I was sworn in, I made a promise to amplify the youth voice further. One, I'm going to undertake a serious mandate by engaging the various county assemblies and executive governments of the 6 counties to ensure that we review the county youth policy. Okay? And I know there are counties which do not have a standalone county youth policy. So we are going to engage with the honorable members, the county government, and the various stakeholders to ensure that by the end of my term, these counties have an exclusive and vibrant county youth policies that responds directly to the youth needs. 2, I want to engage these county governments further, so that we establish what is called the youth advisory boards at the county level, so that the county government can have a special body that would be in charge of advising the executive and the assembly on issues youth. That is another layer through which we can amplify the youth voice in matters of policy, governance, and development. And I'm here, and I hope that I'll make it come true for the Kenyan youth. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. John. Somebody will also wish to know whether, it's coming in, this segment is coming in after devolution, and that Raila Odinga and his position in the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya is the opposition leader in that area. And now he's looking up to the grievances of the Kenyans towards on the checking of the government, what the government does. Are you, as the youth representative segment, going to work together with the opposition to see that the youth are also represented when an area, for example, now the doctors are on strike? Are you also going to do the same, maybe to append the grievances of the youth in that docket?
Yes. We are independent.
Yes.
And we are here to ensure that the youth has their stake, their rights are taken care of. And I know I have friends. I have my friend Calvin's, my friend Mandela, my friend Ten, the doctors.
Yes.
And last night I was having a conversation with them about, because I wanted to find more about the doctors' strike and what their opinions were. And narrated to me very painfully what some of them are going through. And I want to emphasize that as KYMCA Nyanza Region Bunge Chief, I want to urge the government to take this issue with the seriousness it deserves.
Okay.
We cannot waste our youth. The biggest problem that we face in Kenya is what is called youth poverty. And actually it is being amplified by the government because the government does not have responsive policies to address issues of unemployment. We have doctors went through 6 years in medical school. I have friends. I once shared a laboratory with them, you know, handling cadavers here and there, hoping that one day we will fulfill the dreams of our fathers. But then we find ourselves in a situation where the government does not care about our plight, having gone to school. And we know some of us went to school through the most difficult of conditions.
Yes.
I stand with the Kenyan doctors, I stand with the Kenyan youth, and I'm telling the government and the CS for help, please get serious.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, at your capacity, Mr. John, and your office, and the youth inclusively, is there a voice that you see the other day, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, the President, said that the doctors should get back to job and there's no money into their account that will be charged to that allegation that the doctors are trying to stipulate out there. What do you take maybe about what the President uttered about money not there to be paid?
I think the President is wrong on this. We've seen, this is not the first time Kenyan doctors are striking. So this has been an issue. We had teachers striking some time back so that we could send along holidays. Lecturers were striking. But the issue with our doctors is not just about money. It was a CBA agreement that was negotiated some years back. And then when the President comes and tells these Kenyan doctors, people whom so many lives depend, that the government does not have money. And yet, if you look at the allocations that is being given to the office of the spouse of the DP, office of the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, the amount of money that is being paid to chief, they're called chief CSS, chief assistant secretaries, whatever. And you look at the CSs, they're doing nothing. You see Millicent Omanga is twerking on TikTok. And she's being paid how much? She's not earning any value to the Kenyan economy and to the Kenyan the development plan. But there is money for them. They line in State House, they're being paid. And yet people are providing essential services are being told that we don't have money. We've seen our ministers wearing expensive watches, goggles, clothes, you know. And so it's become a meme on social media. So that anytime a minister's picture is taken, people would have to go to Google Lens to find out how expensive is that watch, is that shoe, is that belt, is that cloth. Very expensive, extravagant living, you know, total wastage. The government needs to restructure so that they can get the money to pay the doctors, to pay the police officers, to pay the teachers. There is no bargaining about that. Because the problem of our country, now I read an article that says that President Ruto is collecting more tax or more money from Kenyans than any other previous president. Yet, he's spending the least on development. So the problem that our country has is that we don't want the government and its policies is weird. We don't want to respond to the situation as it is. What we're trying to do, we're trying to cover up one edge by telling them that the government doesn't have money, while the main government is spending lavishly without knowing or without thinking that we have an economy that is in a crisis.
Okay.
So let the government stop its wastage. Let us stop paying the they're called chief administrative secretaries.
Yeah.
Let us cut down on travel expenses, and let us give our doctors decent salaries and decent tools and infrastructure to do their job, so that they can save more lives.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. John. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the talk on DTV Kenya, your home live TV. Right away, we have spoken about representation of the youth in the county assembly. We may now get back to empowerment. In which areas particularly, as per your office, can we see that these youth are going to be empowered in one area or the other in the short minutes possible? Then we go for a break.
Thank you. I think one area that we are really going to be focused in. In my office, we have organizations that support our mandate. We have, I think, the Netherlands Institute of Multi-Party Democracy.
Yeah.
And other organizations. But the key to empowering our youth relies on the county youth policy.
Okay.
Because it is this county youth policy that is going to unlock opportunities that exist within the county government to trickle down to the grassroots, so that each and every youth has the opportunity to tap in.
Oh yeah.
My vision as the speaker for the Nyanza region, I have two areas through which I would want to bring empowerment. One, we will be engaging stakeholders, donors, doing proposals of initiatives that we think would be of great benefit to the youth and also would add value to some of these processes. Then we'll reach out to them, do fundraising, do proposals, get the resources so that we can bring them back to the grassroots. That is one. Two is unlocking the potential that exists within our counties. You see, most of our counties have very limited budget for youth activities. The only thing that they think of is sports. But there is much more. We have a lot of potential in agriculture. We have a lot of potential in blue economy, now that we're coming from the Lake region. We have a lot of potential in ICT. So the first thing that I want to do is to ensure that we have ICT hubs within our counties. So we're going to include that as part of the youth policy. Why? Because right now, ICT is the enabler for economic development for any organization, any county government, and any national government, because it will unlock innovations. We have a youth ICT center, let me say, in Migori County. We can bring youth who did their Form 4 and are not able to proceed with their higher education, but then they'll have a ICT hub from where they'll be able to learn digital skills. And digital skills like, let me say, coding, graphics design, things to do with video editing. So they'll not need to get formal employment. So a guy who was riding boda can easily take up a course, a digital course, come back to his house, get a laptop, and start designing. We have these online platforms. They'll be able to be linked to job opportunities. So at the comfort of their house, they'll be able to design and animate. That is an example. Two, another area that I think our youth need to be empowered is by unlocking the Youth Empowerment Fund, so that we're able to empower organizations, these youth groups, these youth groups, that is going to have a multi-layer kind of effect. It's going to cascade down. You bring a youth of 10 people, you do a nice proposal, they get the funds, you provide business training, support, technical support, you ensure that they grow. That is a key thing by which we can empower our youth. But most importantly is the kind of mindset that we are bringing to the youth by telling them that in Kenya, a time has reached whereby you do not need to be employed because the jobs are not there. So find ways through which you can be self-employed. And it is possible. It is being done out there. Why can't we implement it back into our counties so that we provide more opportunities? So we do not have to rely on the Public Service Board to provide opportunities for us through announcements, but then we are able to learn and earn through other avenues. ICT, agriculture, for me seems to be the biggest means of empowering our youth. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. John. Ladies and gentlemen, we're pushing on this talk. Seeing we are behind time, and in a short while, we are getting to break. Thereafter, we shall come with the conclusion. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into the BTV Kenya, your home live TV. We are getting the second session, which would actually make the end of this segment of the talk about youth, power, and leadership. Herein, I'm Ocheng Geoffrey with my friend here. We are going to see into a few areas, particularly on how leaders, those that are under the youth age, can now be given opportunities. We have seen on how they can get to job, how they can maybe bring a segment on their own to make them be self-employed, and so on and so forth. Now, apart from those ones there, how about leadership? Now, you hear out there people say youth are still young people and their representation should be done by at least somebody who is elderly. What's the take of the youth at this hour? I'm seeing you have an office already. Will it be that this office will have maybe a session of pushing a few youth also to have sessions in leadership, maybe in parliament or even in for presidency and all those other areas?
Thank you. I think now on a political level,
yes,
I have the biggest task to ensure that these 6 countries, these 6 counties in the Nyanza region would have the highest number of elected young MCAs in Kenya. And trust me, I'm going to make it happen. Because my mandate is we're not just empowering these youths.
Yes.
I want for youth to take up leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a perfect example.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to serve in a political office
Okay.
when I was 24.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 24 years of age.
Yes.
And I was holding a very senior position of a personal assistant.
Yes.
And I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
it's not only me who can, you can.
Yeah.
So many youths can.
Mm-hmm.
But who is going to direct them? Who is going to show them the way? Who is going to mentor them? Who is going to motivate them so that they take up this leadership position?
Yeah.
It will be me.
Yes.
And I am going to crisscross across the 6 counties,
Mm-hmm.
trying to build a formidable coalition of youth
Yeah.
so that by 2027,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to have the youth taking these counties
Mm-hmm.
at the ward level, at the constituency level,
Mm-hmm.
at the county level
Mhm.
with a storm.
Okay.
It is my hope, it is my dream, I have a plan,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to make it happen.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
definitely. We are
Yeah.
not going to bargain about it.
Uh-huh.
Youths must take their rightful positions and be
Yeah.
at the table.
Okay.
We're not going to be on the menu, my
Uh-huh.
friend. No, it's
It's going. It's a going.
I have to ensure
Mm.
that within each and every table,
Mm-hmm.
50%
Mm-hmm.
of this representative
Yes.
must be youth
Yes.
and women,
Okay.
because we go hand in hand.
Okay.
And youthful women.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
I'm seeing you today.
definitely.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. John. We are pushing on to the last session of the segment. Maybe your last verdict as we are coming to at the end of the program.
Okay, mine is a call to action.
Yes.
Dear Kenyan youth,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are, I want to tell you that never stop believing in yourself. I know times are hard. The youth are crumbling, no jobs. Youth is sick. Our government doesn't give a damn what we want. Some of us are being exported as labor. But I want to tell you this tonight. Believe in yourself. Take a stand. Be wise. Be strong. Remain focused. Because the future of this nation is in your hands. This nation is going to prosper or it is going to fail simply because you took an action. So tonight, I want to urge you from the bottom of my heart that join me, join my colleagues, join our fellow youthful leaders. Let us work together and let us develop this country and take it to the next level. I also want to implore any other person or any other youth who would want to join the KYMCA movement, youth who have the potential to be leaders in the next general election. Engage, let us come together and let us work strategies because 2027 is all about youth. Thank you and see you around. I believe in you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and that marks the end of the hot seat today on BTV Kenya, our home live TV. We are coming to an end of the session today. The same segments will be made as per the programs that we are having in here. Over here is the Speaker of Youth Assembly, Nyanza Region, Mr. Okoth Navin. We shall come again another day so that we proceed with the same sir.
Thank you so much
You're
for having
welcome.
me. Thank you.
You're so substantive.
I appreciate it. Sir.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good